Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 108 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 108 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you are here with us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep, and I'm just so glad that you continue to support me on the journey. Before we get started with this week's episode, I want to make sure that we set the foundation. You know, it's really important to me that we build this safe space, this house that we are creating on two very important tenets, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is pretty straightforward. I just like to make sure you understand why you're here. The Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for women. I wanted a space where women can come together, share our stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, and inspire each other to be our best selves, inspire each other to grow. And so that is what this space is all about. And then that always will lead into my second favorite thing that we're building this space on, and that is love. Love is going to be the root of everything that we do here. So I want you to know that you are loved and thought of every single day. And with that, I like to make sure that every week I send prayers to you. So this week, I definitely want to make sure I send prayers of perseverance. It has been quite a week already, quite a few weeks. So I want you to know that you can persevere. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep fighting. I also want you to have prayers of peace. I want you to have prayers of health, mental and physical. I want you to also have prayers of love. I want you to feel loved from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And I want you also to have prayers of encouragement and support and just be an openness, because there's just so many wonderful things that can happen to you when you open yourself up. Be open. You never know what God and the universe are trying to give you. So I am really excited about recording on Tuesday night, May the 3rd, and I have two very amazing guests this week. I'm very honored to be able to share them with you. These two ladies are just simply awesome. I am very excited to have you get a chance to hear from Ms. Wendy Roseberry and Ms. Eugenia Marshall. They are friends and the founders of ConditionHER. ConditionHER is a product for women. Actually, it's a product for our vulva, as I was educated, not just the vagina, the vulva. It is to soften, it is to moisturize, and just to give care. But as you'll see through the course of our conversation, there's some other things that we're going to learn about the ConditionHER. And we're also going to learn about the power of these two ladies' friendship. So if you will stand by in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they'll be right with you. Ms. Eugenia Marshall and Wendy Berry Rose, and they are the founders of ConditionHER, which I'm going to say it kind of like, it's like moisturizer for your vagina. Just blunt. And ladies, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
but
I will slightly correct you. It is moisturizer for your vulva, and there is the difference.
Your vulva. Yes, that's true, because you don't want to go inside.
Yes.
And that's kind of that happen.
Right. And it's kind of honestly a really good point to make this early in the conversation, because there is a lot of education around what's happening in that space, that area for women. And for one, we've been calling it the wrong name forever. Very much so. The external parts of our intimate areas are called vulva, ladies. I know we don't use that term often, but I really would like us to start using that, especially those listening with small children, with little girls that really trying to know their body. So the vagina is internal, y'all. That's where tampons, that's the internal canal that leads to your cervix. Just so now we got that anatomy 101 down. We all good.
Yes, I appreciate that, because you're right. I want to make sure I use the proper term, because I do not want anybody to make that mistake and put it inside, and that leads to whole other probably complex situations.
Right.
So it is lotion for your vulva. So we're going to talk about the lotion for your vulva, but we're also going to talk about how you got started, because these ladies are amazing. So just kind of kick it off. Who wants to start? Wendy, Eugenia, who wants to give their introduction first? And then we'll go right into it.
G, you can start. Go right ahead.
Okay. My name is Eugenia Marshall, and I am a co-founder of ConditionHER. And by my day job is that I am the CHRO of the largest business management firm in the country. And then also I am a mother. I like to put that very at the top of the list. And then I happen to be a lover of an amazing man for the last 8 years. And
I'm very honored to have you here, Eugenia. And excuse me, y'all. I thought I was off mute. Lord, see that hand gets a little away from me. So I apologize about that. Ms. Wendy, would you like to give your introduction?
Sure. Well, I am Wendy Roseberry, the other half of the ConditionHER team. And I'm a California. We're both, I'm not a native. Gina's a native. I've been here since I was 12 and we're knee deep in these 40s. But yeah, I too am an employed entrepreneur in the entertainment space on the TV side of things for the last 12 years. Also a mom of an amazing 25-year-old son who's spreading his wings and learning to fly out here in this real world. It's looking a lot of fake news in this real world, but apparently that's what we're in. I am a lover, I'm an unattached lover.
Me too.
So listen, so if somebody's listening, your
nothing
brother,
wrong with loving.
Listen, your brother, uncle, grandfather is single, and he's because my friends are grandparents at this age, so I can put that in there. But no, yes, and very much so a sister friend of my. Gina's a little more than my business partner. She is the sister that I've chosen, and so it's always a blessing and a joy to be on this journey with her. And thank you for having us today, Pamela.
Oh, I'm so excited. When I got a chance to talk with you guys before our pre-call, I was like, I'm hooked because your energy together is just so beautiful. And the fact that you were able to come together as friends, as sisters, and put together a business, I think is super inspiring. So I just am very grateful that you're here on my show talking to other women because we need that inspiration. And I love to spotlight women who are just doing amazing things. I call them lights. So you two are definitely two lights that I had to do this for.
Well, we're a reflection of you. We are a reflection of you. So light is shining light right back on light. So I love it.
Me too. That's right. Amen. And I think more people need to recognize that. It's funny when you were talking, Wendy, about Eugenia, and you said that that's the sister you chose. It led me really to think about the first question I have, like, how long have y'all, how did you guys get together? Like, how did you guys find each other?
Okay. The short story is we were in our very early 20s. And I lived in a suburb. Gina lived right in the heart of the city. And I lived in a suburb about 40 minutes out. So, and we were young. We were like really young. So at that time, you get to the club early. If the flyers say 9, you there at 9:05 because, we're not celebrities and weren't the video girls. And so we had to be there, make sure we can get in. And that particular weekend, I want to say it was an awards weekend. I believe it was March, because if I'm not mistaken, Shaq's birthday's around March. So 2 things happened. We had met, we had seen each other for the very first time, on a Friday night. And I believe it was a Nas party in Hollywood Boulevard. And we were young in there. She was there with her bestie, and I was there with my bestie at the time. And then we noticed each other's like, hey, girl, because we were there early again. The next night, Saturday night, Shaq had a party near downtown. And we got there early again. And we saw Gina and Delea. Again, we were like, hey. And actually, I thought Gina was super young. She had braces and she was like this skinny mini thing. So I was like, I thought she was super young. So before the party really got started, my heel broke. Mind you, I'm 45 minutes from home. My heel broke. And I was like, oh, damn, we got to go. We're going to have to leave. We can't stay. And Gina's like, what's wrong? Why you got to leave? And I was like, girl, my shoe broke. We're going to have to leave. She was like, well, what size you wear? I said, a 10, a big size. And I said, girl, you ain't got my shoes. She said, let's go next. I live across the street. I have every size. And sure enough, she had 8.5. She had 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, and 10s. Whole room full of shoes.
Girl,
I love it.
So
I love it. Girl, it's the on sale size. It's the on sale size.
I could have changed my whole fit. She had a whole closet room, a room that was a closet, basically. Which was very inspirational to be. Now that I think back, we had to be 22, 21, 22, 23. And when I think back, to have had a friend living in Los Angeles at that age, had her own 2-bedroom place where one, she was able just to have a closet room. a dress-up room was pretty, was a big deal now that I think about it. And it's continued through life and seeing, Gina, they say, you are the average of the 5 you surround yourself by. And I've done very well keeping her close, keeps my average
Same
up.
Same here.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Cause I'm actually jealous. Like I need some friends who have like that kind of mentality. Cause I agree. If anybody can give you a pair of shoes when you first meet
and a 10,
y'all need to stay together. Stay together.
a 41.
Yes. And for those who are guessing the European sizes on that.
Yes.
European size shoes are not easy to come by for those of us that might have a little larger foot. Yes. Mm-hmm. I love it. So you guys have been like thick as thieves, obviously, I'm assuming since that moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Because in all transparency, I actually connected really with who she was with first, her bestie. And she and I kind of were the running mates. And then she up and moved out of the blue one day. We literally, a weekend went by. We were like, you seem to last. Next thing we know, she was like, y'all, I'd have moved. And so I was like, well, Gina, you stuck with me now. So and she was stuck.
Yeah. But sometimes the best friendships start like that. Like you just never assumed that you always thought it was going to be the other person. And then you two get together and it's like, oh yeah. So you guys have known each other for quite some time. I mean, how long did it take for you guys to decide to start getting into business together then?
Oh,
we've dabbled and dabbled in that for a long time. So not only have we worked outside of work together, we've actually worked at work together.
Awesome.
Because when Wendy and I first met, I actually hired her brother because he was just super brilliant young man. And then when I moved back to Los Angeles, I hired both of them because I know their ability. And Wendy's a connector at a very high level. And it's like one of those skills that you don't put on a job description, but it's the one thing that is super hard to find. And that's somebody who can not only connect, but then also connect in a way that you can utilize the person. So Wendy, when she connects with somebody, it's not like, oh, what's your name? Okay, I'm going to get in contact with you. It's like, no, what's your name? What do you do? Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, so what is that exactly? And she figures it out and she's like, oh, you need to know this person and this person needs to know you. And she's that type of connector. So being a high level connector, I've always, she's the first person I throw out there. You need to talk to Wendy.
I love that. Yeah. Because those are special people. I agree. When you can connect somebody like that, you got to hold on to that kind of person. Mm-hmm. Over the years, with everything that you guys have dabbled in, what made you land on ConditionHER, on lotion for your vulva? What made you decide that was the route that you guys wanted to take?
You know what? And if you don't mind, if I can backtrack just for a second, just to the women that are listening, because one thing, and this has come up on other interviews, and I think this might be a good time to at least speak on it, is that I'm starting to, and I haven't done the research, don't quote me, folks, but I have a feeling that growing up, and I know it was my experience, we were kind of told, and when I say we, I mean we as Black folks, don't get into business with friends or family. We would get jobs and be told, now, don't you bring your friends up in there and getting them hired. They're going to mess it up for you. You get in there and put your head down and you do the work, stay out the way, be, seen and unheard, or whatever, unseen, unheard, whatever is, get in there and I just want to take the time to say that is so detrimental to us because other folks don't think like that. When we talk, we were having this discussion recently with someone else, and I something I want to touch on all the time, why wouldn't you want to do business with your friend or your family if you could? Now, everybody doesn't have the same skill set. And yes, it's difficult. Even right now, we've been in this business for several years now, dealing with ConditionHER, but, and we're still now just figuring, I'm reading a book right now. I just sent Gina a text the other night, I think there's some figuring out we have to do because I think I'm this role and I think you're that role and we might be missing something in the middle. And I think I'm trying to play that role, but when I play it, I think I piss you off. I think I'm not good in that role with you. I'm good in that role with other people. And so we kind of, it's always an aha moment, but, ladies and gents, don't be afraid to get into business with your friends, and your family. You protect yourself, do things, but I just wanted to touch on that. But in terms of, to answer the question you asked, how we got into this harebrained, not planned out at all. And I was at lunch with a friend and a former colleague yesterday who she said, Wendy, we got together like 5 years ago. And I remember you talking about this and it was kind of going and you weren't. And she was working on a bag line and she has since left the company and she was sharing all the things that she's done. She hasn't even launched her brand yet. All the things that she's done to prep, all the classes she's taken, everything. And I was telling her, wow, girl, I feel like you're light years ahead of where we were because we just like jumped in, and there's things now we're going back to do. But this was a harebrained idea that I had because, I was dating someone that preferred more hair than I was keeping. And I was a waxer at the time. I'm ladies, black girls, my queens, we can laser. For those of you that have been afraid to laser and you've heard about it, we can laser. They have changed those lasers. There was a time the melanin in our skin didn't really allow the laser to pick up the hair follicle. But, they didn't come and do a public service announcement about it. But we are missing out if you are not, getting laser. It's so much quicker. But nonetheless, and for those of you that waxing, because I don't want to take business away from my esthetician sisters either, but for those of you that are waxing or sugaring, do your thing too. But don't be afraid to laser if that's an option. And so at the time I was waxing and he just, he wanted me to wax less. And that was such a foreign concept to me. I'm an LA girl, we kind of crisp and clean and the whole thing. And I was like, more than this 2-finger landing strip that I'm keeping. And he was like, yes. And so, girl, I obliged and started to grow out the hair. And one of the issues that came up for me was I started getting ingrowns because I had been waxing since I was 18 and I was in my mid-30s by then, mid to late 30s. And so those hair follicles hadn't been activated in many years. And so I was getting, and then you're picking at it and you're plucking them and now you got discoloration, the whole nine. And so it was something that I guess as I was growing out the hair, I was like, well, how am I going to maintain this? I feel like this area, it needs some sort of, maintenance, some moisturizing, something. And it took me back over drinks with friends and we were laughing and I was telling them the story about this brother and we were like, what? And I was like, I guess I'm going to have to use my hair conditioner and shampoo. They were like, what? I was like, yeah, you guys never used like back in the day in your teenage days, your Suave or Pantene or, and they were like, some were like, no, I've never even thought about that. And then a couple were like, oh, yeah, I used to do that. Yep, I used to use my Strawberry Suave or my Pantene or whatnot. And for the same reason that I did in my teenage years, and that was I thought I was softening the hair. What I had was an intimate skincare routine. And I know that now, and we identify that now, just as you have with your face. You keep your face clean, you keep your face exfoliated, you do your masks, you do your moisture, all of the things. Your vulva area, that vulva skin is very sensitive and it does require and deserve that same sort of treatment. And so whether you're young or you're postmenopausal, especially postmenopausal, because there's so many drying issues with dryness and other issues that come up. But nonetheless, we laughed about it over drinks and I decided that I needed to make something. And the next morning, the night was so funny, just that the conversation got so hilarious with the girls and the types of products we thought we could make for the coochie that needed it. And, we thought we would make something called Shampussy. And that became the joke
with the Shampussy now. That is
right. We were like, and that became the joke of the night. And that really, as a marketer by trade, that stuck with me. So when I woke up the next morning, I just remember waking up and still laughing to myself. And you laying in bed in the morning. So I was laughing. Let me pick up my phone right in the bed. I said, let me look up pubic hair moisturizer, pubic hair conditioner. I just started Googling in the bed. This was 2013. And nothing came up, nothing at all. And I called Gina from Chicago. I was in Chicago at the time. I said, I said, this is crazy. I said, but I think I found a product we need to make. I think I found a void in the market. And I tell her, she was like, okay. I said, look it up. Spend some time. Like, I don't see anything. I'm telling you, women would use this. So we kind of talked about, and for the next few months, that's all I did was research. Okay. And what I did find was, there wasn't Instagram. I mean, Instagram wasn't there. It was there, but we weren't like I don't know, we weren't having those sorts of conversations
Yeah.
in that way. But women were in forums online, these talk forums, these chat forums, and they were discussing coarse pubic hair there. And ironically, it was mostly European women that were just really having an issue, and they wanted some relief. So we knew that there was a need, and you know, shampoocy would have meant that we were trying to shampoo something. And that's what I was reading in these forums was like, oh, no, they're fine with they clean it. I hope y'all using towels, because, you know, some people ain't washing their legs now and feet now. But what they were asking for was moisture. And that stuck with me. And so we just kind of, you know, kept it going. And that's where it came from.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I'm still stuck on the shampoocy. I just love that. I can't get it out of my head.
Oh,
but
man.
Eugenia, how did you feel? I mean, like, real talk. How did you receive that when she called you and was like, let's try it out? What you think?
Okay, so I actually happen to be one of those people that did use conditioner on my pubic hair.
Really?
Okay, yes, I was one of those people. So Wendy, when she was talking about it, you know, and like I said, Wendy is an ideator. Like I said, she's her two strongest ability, like her superpowers. Her superpowers are the ability to walk into any room and to talk to anybody. And her second superpower is she's an ideator. Like, I gave her a name, like the Terminator. She's the ideator. And so she's always coming up with ideas, like, and like, not just like simple ideas, but really outside the box ideas. And when she said this, it happened to be around the time when the Johnson & Johnson thing was going on, when you were seeing all the commercials about baby powder in your underwear and how it causes cervical cancer and things like that. And I was thinking, you know, and I've lost people to cancer, you know, very close friends and colleagues to cancer. And when she said it and she was talking about it, I realized I'm one of those people that she's talking about. Like, I'm putting conditioner in, you know, on my pubic hair, thinking that it's going to soften, just like, you know, the average person would think. Because
had anybody ever asked you, Gina? But when I asked you that, Gina, had anybody ever even asked you that? Okay.
No one had ever asked me that question, but I was a person who was doing it and had been doing it since, like you said, you wash your hair on your head. This is hair. Wow. Of course, I'm going to put the conditioner there. So it made sense, right? But with the shampoocy name, I wasn't sold. But a few steps down the road, when she called me with the name, that's when I was like, okay, this is something big. And then there were just a series of events that happened that were just like once in a lifetime opportunities. And one of the things that I've learned from working with like high net worth individuals and celebrities and things like that is that a lot of these people weren't more talented than people you know. They just happened to be in like a moment. They had a moment that was like a make or break moment where they chose to go down that road or they chose to do something and it just blew up, you know? And I was like, you know, but there were always those series of events that kind of led to that moment. And I was like, you know what? There's something here. There's something here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could definitely see it. And because I know from myself, just listening to how you were describing it, both of you, I can actually see you two having the conversation about it and just kind of like trying to flesh it out. And I know we kind of, you pivoted back, like you were saying earlier, about how as women, especially Black women, we are taught not to collaborate with each other, you know, in business or anything like that.
And we were taught not to share anything. That's why I don't refer a friend. And ironically, don't tell anybody how much money you make, which now you see in the news, like right now this week, it's the big thing on how employees are sharing their salaries and they're evening the playing field and they're, you know, trying to add equity in the workforce. And so those are things, you know, it kind of speaks right to that right now in this moment. But
oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's just, to me, that's a sign of how much you both trust and respect each other.
Well, my grandmother was really big about that, Pamela. My grandmother, she used to always say that there's enough room for everybody. She was like, you can be pretty and she can be pretty too. You can be smart and she can be smart too. And I think that that's really important to teach our children as they're growing up. Like, there's room for both of you. Like, both of you can be a millionaire. Both of you can be a billionaire. Like, there's no stopping one from the other. Like, so why hate on your sister?
Absolutely. And the fact that you two have that coming into it as both two actualized people who realize we're both bringing something to the table and we both can play to our strengths. You're the ideator. Eugenia, if you were to classify yourself, are you like the numbers, the details?
I call myself a master builder. I'm a master builder. I was told this by a really good friend who calls himself a master teacher. And he told me this thing, like, and it stuck with me because he was like, you're a 22. And I was like, I'm a 22. He was like, yeah, you're a 22. You're born on the 22nd. He was like, you're born in the 6th month. That's 222. He was like, you're born in 1975. That's a 22. He was like, you're a master builder. He was like, in numerology, that's somebody who can take something and ideas and turn them into something. And when I think about my career and even my life, I've always been able to build things. Like, you know what I mean? I could build it. I could figure it out. To almost, it's like my gift and my curse. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like my gift.
Because then everybody wants something from you. Everybody wants your help with something.
And there's just not enough. There's just not enough of you to spread around.
No, not at all. And I mean, especially with you two being so powerful, you have an ideator and a master builder together. And really, you guys could probably take over the world if we gave you enough time and space, which I think is amazing. And money.
Yes. And the resources.
Yes, the resources to do that. But how long from you guys coming up with the concept and putting that together did you guys decide to, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and do it?
Sure. So I had the idea summer of 2013 in the month of July, if I'm not mistaken. And I did have a background in the retail world. I worked for Fred Siegel here on Melrose back in my 20s. And so I had been around what's considered prestige beauty, which are the high-end beauty brands, and I had gotten to witness how wealthy people shop and how loyal they are to certain brands once it didn't matter. It didn't have to be a Black-owned brand. It didn't have to be a whatever. Most of the brands didn't even nothing on the packaging, nothing about it looked like it was for Black folks, but we had found it and we were buying it, whether they were spending marketing dollars to grab us or not. And so I did know that a lot of those brands were considered private label, meaning that they had kind of rented a formula, not necessarily those particular brands, but several. There was a process called private labeling. So if you're sitting wondering, like, how does everybody and their mama have an eyelash brand? How do everybody and mama have a lip gloss brand? And I know this girl ain't got no type of cosmetic, engineering background, making background. It's called private label, and they do that for cosmetics, skincare, all sorts of things. Your favorite juice brand, you could private label a juice. That just means you're kind of borrowing or licensing the formula, and they're taking an already made formula that the lab owns, and they're licensing it to you. You put your label on it, wrap it in your label. And a lot of times what's in your favorite high-end beauty brand or makeup, cosmetic is the same ingredients, the same formula that's in what's in CVS or Walmart. They've made by the same company. They might have used a higher quality ingredient, a similar ingredient, but maybe one's a higher quality, maybe. So that's what private label is. So I knew that. So I started looking up private label cosmetic companies and taking calls and figuring it out. And I was also being a little vague with them because I didn't want to, I knew this did not exist at the time. And I did not want anybody trying to steal our idea. And so at that point, our thought was, well, if women around the world have already been using their regular hair conditioner and shampoo, who are we to, make them safer? Let's just get an existing conditioner formula and let's, I don't know, what makes hair soft? A little argan oil, a little shea butter. We know. Throw a little whirls of curl in there. We all know, and let's sell it,
Right.
And at some of the labs we were going to, they were mostly owned by men who thought the idea was great and hadn't heard of it. And they were like, well, what do you see in it? So they were kind of letting us be like, yeah, let's put the this and the that and the this and the that. And it just didn't settle well. Not only that, but when you private label, you do not own your formula. Meaning if they want to take that same formula and show it to the next person that shows up and they can put their label on it and everything, That's how it goes. And we knew we wanted to own our formula, but it was super expensive with these people. And so we just kind of sat on it for 3 years. We kept searching and looking. Nothing was popping up. No competitors were coming up. So we were good. And we kind of let it kind of ride because we just, we're both working full-time jobs. My son was in college at the time. Everything was a little crazy. And going into 2016, December of 2015. So I went to on vacation with another bestie. And we took a trip to this new resort. I think it's called like Tacoma. And it's up in the Sierra Mountains in Northern California. And it was small, 30 room, 40 room. And we got there. We were the only Black girls, like anywhere in sight, only Black people. We went in, dropped our bags, and was like, put these bikinis on. We getting in the hot tub. We need to relax. And when we went to the jacuzzi, there was a family in there, a woman and a man and 2 daughters, which we thought were their 2 daughters. They were a dating couple at the time. And I'm super friendly. I'm a Libra. Shout out to the Libras listening, because y'all know what I mean. Y'all know we talk to everybody and anybody, and everybody and anybody talk to us. So I got in, and the lady starts talking to me, and she has an accent. And, I could see her boyfriend kind of looking at us like, what are they doing? How'd they get here? Which someone actually ended up asking us how we got there. We were like, by car, how'd you get here? Translation, How did y'all Black folks get up in here? That was the translation. Nonetheless, she and I get to talking, and we're kind of jazzing it up. And she's like, yes, I'm a biochemist, I'm a PhD biochemist. I'm from Europe, and I'm the head of biochemistry at the university I work at. And I'm working right now on lots of products and organic toothpaste and this and that. And it wasn't hitting me, right? I'm just talking to her, being friendly. But the second time she said she was making organic toothpaste, something clicked. I said, I'm sorry, what? I said, what did you just say you're making? And I said, so what do you do? She said, I'm a chemist. I'm a biochemist. I said, but what does that mean? What does I'm completely oblivious, but the wheels are turning. And she said, Wendy, I make things. I said, I make all sorts of things. She said, most of the products that I make are for cancer patients. A salve for this, or something that she made, something for the mouth that calmed lesions or something, all these things that were all natural. She had a lot of accolades and was well known in Europe. And so I said, so now the little thing had clicked. I said, oh, shucks. 3 years later, I said, Julia, can I ask you something? I said, I've been trying to make this conditioner for 3 years. And it's very sensitive and we can't figure it out. She's like, oh, a hair conditioner? I said, yes. And she said, that's very easy. I can help you. I said, but not for this hair on your head. And I said, I pointed down to the nether, to the hoo-ha, to the nether.
Right.
And it took her a second, I think language barrier. But when she got it, she got it. And she grabbed me by my arms and she started shaking me. So everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? And she goes, oh my gosh, Wendy, I knew this was meant to be. She was like, God showed me your aura when you walked into this pool.
Wow.
And she said, I'm supposed to help you. And she said, I can make this. She said, this is brilliant. How did you think of this? She said, I can make this very easy. She said, how are you going to make this? And I said, well, Julia, we've been going to labs and trying to figure this out. And they're all owned by men. She's like, well, what were you going to put in it? And she said, oh no, Wendy, we was going to call everybody's coochie was going to fall off. Basically, if we had made what we was trying to make, y'all wasn't going to like us very much. We was going to be in a class action lawsuit. The coochie class action lawsuit is what we was about to embark on. And so she said, this is very sensitive. And I said, yeah, we need to soften the pubic hair. She said, no, this is not what it's about. She says, that's very sweet of you. That's very cosmetic. And she said, Wendy, this is health and wellness. She said, I can soften pubic hair. That's no problem. She said, you need to help women maintain their pH balance. So we're going to make you a formula. She said, that area is very sensitive. And whatever you put in that vulvar skin is going to penetrate and it's going to throw your pH off. We ain't thought nothing about no pH balance, no nothing. We was over here just trying to soften a little pubic hair. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this lady is like, my mind was like, mind blown. Whole shift. We had to literally go and change everything about the way we thought and talked about this. And she said, yep, this is doable. This is going to be great. She said, you are going to have the most high quality, safest ingredients. She said, I'm going to go back to my country and I will meet you back here in California, in Napa, in a few months with your samples. 4 months later, she flew back and I met her. And that was 2016. And it took us another 3 years to raise the money. So we can talk about money and the lack thereof for most women, especially Black women. And it was a life changer. It was a game changer for us. You know, even the name was a game changer. Like, we didn't come up with the name. We didn't have a name. We didn't know what to call it. And a guy friend of mine who is like one of my confidants and who I really trust and has always been, and he like, I have ideas all the time. He'd be like, oh, that ain't gonna work. That's terrible. Don't waste your time. But this one, he didn't say that. He turned red because he white. He turned red and he's got quiet. And he said, go get your debit card. I said, why? He said, just go get your debit card. He said, what are you going to call this? I said, I don't know. We don't know. We said, Sam Pussy. He said, no. He said, go get your debit card. And he literally was like, go to GoDaddy. So I went to GoDaddy. He said, type in ConditionHER.com. Boom. And I said, well, let's get ConditionHim.com too. And that was it. You know, and so.
Now it's trademarked.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Right. Oh, right. For the trademarking too. Yes. For all the entrepreneurs out there.
That's how so just to give you the timeline overview, 2013 idea, 2016 samples from the chemist that we met in the jacuzzi random, to market in June, I think, of 2019, thanks to Blavity's 2190 event that they did in Atlanta, which is an all women's event weekend. And that was our kind of debut launch. We got an opportunity to be there. And 2190 is, I think, one of the first like kind of press outlets for us to get a little press. And that's the story. So here we are, you know, in this COVID, you know, with women have the Corona bush and we've been saving coochies. We've been, you know, moisturizing vulvas worldwide and helping out those Corona bushes that you have grown.
Yes, God. That's all on that front. We have grown because you just in your house, you're not worried about it.
Right.
And if you're married, your husband's probably just like, whatever at this point.
Right.
He's just used to it.
Well, everyone's
until it gets too crazy. Until it gets too crazy. Okay. Because you got to add that part. Like, because your long-term significant others is cool until it gets a little out of control. Then they like,
but some like that. Some like the little out of control. Listen.
There's some folks probably out here braiding hair with that. No.
Somebody on OnlyFans right now.
Look, just maybe
doing fade now. Somebody doing fades right now on the coochie hair on OnlyFans and making a whole lot of money.
Probably so. Probably
lace fronts.
Lace fronts and all that.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I love it. And your story is so intentional. It really. I mean, I am just floored by the intentionality of it. Like, you can truly see like that there's so much alignment and covering over you guys. I think that's awesome. I do. And it's just very rare. You know, it is. It's very rare. Because unfortunately, as Black women, like we were just saying earlier, it is very rare because we are so closed off when we have ideas. We don't want to share. We don't want to be, very open with what we're thinking about. And so for you two to be able to kind of put yourselves out there like that, to attract that kind of energy, that's really important. That's very powerful. So you have your own proprietary brand, obviously. And I know it's 100% organic and everything. It's natural. I've tried it and I liked it. I was a little skeptical. I just full stop because I worry about the pH. Because, it's like, just don't want to throw that thing.
It was formulated. She was very intentional with this formulation. It was formulated specifically to maintain a woman's pH.
Yes.
And so women
do all the things we asked her to do, like to soften the hair, to soften the skin, to help prevent the ingrowns. Because, like a lot of products out there now, they help with the pH. But the one thing about our product that is so different is that it's like people have called it like magic in a bottle. And I mean, these are people that we don't even know. Okay. Because the people who are leaving reviews are people we don't even know. And it's that it does everything we asked her. Like, it softens the hair. It softens the skin. It helps with the ingrowns. It helps with cysts. It helps with chafing. It does all these things
let me stop you right there, Gina, because there were some things we didn't ask her for to do that we found out it does. And one of the biggest differentiating, benefits from other brands on the market is chafing. Right. Women, so many men and women and children deal with chafing. And for those that don't know what that is, chafing is a skin irritation or condition caused by friction. And it's the friction typically comes from skin to skin contact or clothing, material to skin contact. Right. And so, for those of you that are, and listen, you don't have to be thick in the thighs. Some people are like, oh, that's just, I'm not that thick. My thighs don't touch. Listen, go ask a volleyball player, the skinny little, fit volleyball player, if they chafe. Go ask any, a runner or a person that rides bikes, or they chafe. And, that's not something that affects Gina and I were not impacted by. So we never if you had our very first tube, our first run, says nothing about chafing. I don't think we knew. And so this new bottle and moving forward, and you'll see us start to talk as much as it does for the vulva and help maintain. It is a beast on chafing. And from what we're told, almost immediate. And so y'all, summer's here. It's swimsuit, it's shorts, and it's sundress season. And in all of those instances, you want to make sure that that skin in that area is doing the damn thing.
Oh, absolutely. Because I have thick thighs and mine do touch, but I don't have that issue because I do manage to try to keep the moisture going in that area. And it is important. I feel like now there's even more of an emphasis, like you were talking about, on, products for women. And I think even more emphasis, obviously, for Black women now. We're talking about it more because I'm on TikTok all the time and I see constant videos of people, trying to, I guess, this magic recipe of pills that you could take to keep your vagina and area and your vulva and everything moist. But it is all about all the products that you put as well. Because some of the stuff, that Bath and Body Works and stuff like that, not to shade anyone, it is not built for that area. Trust, no. I have made that mistake. I could have used ConditionHER back then. Talk about chafing. That is it's just unconscionable what you can do to yourself, unfortunately, with all those products. You guys seem super passionate about it. I guess with ConditionHER, what is your vision for the brand now? Are you guys looking to expand product offerings? What are you looking to accomplish more of with this?
Definitely looking to expand product offering. First of all of these opportunities like you're giving us right now to talk. And I think I saw Gina looking to jump in. And if I know my friend, she probably was about to jump in and say to women that, ladies, in terms of those of you who are at home that might be skeptical or might be feeling like, oh, I don't know if I should use this. I don't put anything in that area. Sisters, y'all not going to tell me you are not taking, when you lotion your body, that you are not lotioning all your body and you just lotion and you're not even thinking about it. And then for those of you that might be saying, oh, well, I only use natural things. I only use shea butter, the raw shea butter on that area. Listen, Gina, I have a feeling that you was going to say that just because something is natural doesn't mean it's safe for that. Raw shea butter on vulva skin is not a good look. It's clogging your pores. So if you're like, why am I getting ingrowns? You're clogging your pores. So, in terms of other products, absolutely. We consider ourselves an intimate care brand. ConditionHER is our first intimate skincare product. So when you think intimate care for us, what we think of that is anything that touches your skin, anything that feels soft and personal to you. So, should you down the line, expect to see maybe some comfy socks or underwear or robes and things like that? Absolutely. Slippers, things like that. But they're definitely, we actually own a few formulas that we just haven't rolled out. We have a few scents. And for those of you, we just couldn't afford in all transparency to roll out a scent with the unscented. And I almost was going to pull the plug on the launch because I was so, sometimes when I'm very set on something, I'm very set. Gina will tell you. And so my brother had to be
able to push. I actually pushed you on this one too.
You did. And my brother.
You usually don't push.
Right. The last conversation I had was with my brother and he was like, sis, so you mean to tell me you've gotten all this way and you're just going to not launch because you don't have a scent? And I kind of was like, so by now, him and Gina are saying the same things.
Right.
And I was like, go ahead, Gina.
Well, my argument was that, okay, so this is for your vulva area, right?
Right.
And if you're already sensitive, because like I said, because Wendy and I tested the product before it was on market. And you should have heard those phone calls, okay? Because we were blown away when we realized that it really does soften the hair, right? Then I was blown away when I realized that it really does get rid of any type of ingrown hair or cyst, anything like that. Because when I would shave, I would experience that, and it would like literally overnight difference. And then on top of that, the chafing and it actually kind of helps with strawberry skin too. So it was like, okay, this works. Okay, so we've gotten all the way to the finish line to have a biochemist that is like at the top of her field that Wendy met in a jacuzzi, to formulate a product, and then not only formulate it, but then use the best products that she can find to put in the product. So like, it's not just cotton oil. It's like the best cotton oil. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so we've gotten here. And I'm like, Wendy, I was like, when you're putting something in that area, and this is the first thing you're going to meet us with, if you're sensitive and you have any type of reaction, you're never going to come back. Yep. So let's, if we go with the unscented, I said, people who are having issues will feel more comfortable, and at least we can get them, and then we can roll the scents out later,
And that made all the sense. It made sense.
Absolutely. I'm personally really glad it's unscented, because that the scents freaked me out. Like, I'll be honest, I use I started trying the honey pot products. Mm-hmm. I use the pads in between, my cup, and it was spicy. It was a little tingly, and it frightened me. And like now it's like, so believe me, as a woman who definitely thinks about that, and I see other women talking about it too. We think about the fact that we want someone who's thinking, I like a scent, but I don't need everything to smell good.
You know what it was for me?
I need to work.
I wanted them to have the option. I wanted a woman who, because mind you, I'm coming from a place of, these are women who've been using Day Suave, their conditioner, that are all scented with all the terrible fragrances and all the terrible things, right? So, we should at least give them the option. Someone that might not like the unscented, because, even if something unscented has an unscented scent, you know what I mean? Right. I don't want to lose anyone. And if I can attract them with the scent, but I acquiesced to that argument. And I think it's the best decision we could have made. So we do own a couple scents that will roll out. Fellas, ladies, for those of you that have husbands at home that, might need a little manscaping, maybe, men started using it. Actually my gay guy friend, shout out to LGBTQ plus community, who was like with us from the start. Like, it was actually my gay boys who were like, sis, so you're not going to make condition him, because we need some taming down in that area too. And I was like, you know what? And so that was there. But the irony is that men have found the product. They have found the product in our, in the women's bathroom, and they saw the little tube and they saw the body, which shout out to Kendra Dandy, who is who designed our logo and designed our packaging. We were very intentional. We're a Black woman-owned company that's led and run by a diverse group of all women. Okay. So, like our publicist is Filipino, our packaging designer is Black. Like our lawyer's white. So we got diversity here. Yeah. It's a diverse group of women. And so
I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that.
You should be. Right. That's one of the things that draws me to you. I love the fact that there's so much diversity. It's not just
it's not just us, because we're a Black woman-owned company with a product that is made for all vulvas, and so I walk a thin line with that one, but y'all get what I'm saying. But the men looked at it and they saw the little tube, like, what's this? They turned it over and they were like, ingrown hair. They opened it up and they smelled it, and then it went right in their hands, and guess where it went? To the neck. It went to the neck and to their beard. They had just shaved that morning, and they put it right on there, and it numbed that irritation right out. That little irritation, scratchy irritation they get. And if they had a beard, it softened their beard. And I don't want to put nobody on blast, but I have gotten calls from them that are like, yo, I tried the ConditionHER, and this is the first time I could actually comb through my beard with the comb the first time without it being like tangled. Or like I got a DM from a gentleman from New York, Joshua, shout out to Josh, who was like, listen, I just have to commend you ladies for this product. I know it was not made for men. I know it was not made for our face, but my esthetician, told me he was an esthetician who had been a supporter. She wasn't sure, but she suggested that it was safe enough to try. And he had said, I have not been able to shave like with a straight razor or to shave, myself for years without getting completely irritated and razor bumps and this. And he's like, I've been shaving like a pro and just thank you. And he just left the greatest testimonial. So fellas, we're going to get you a little bottle with something that feels, and I know we're in this whole non-binary world. And for those that may be non-binary, listen, please don't think that we were trying to ignore you or trying to, but the fact of the matter is this product was made for female anatomy that deals with pH imbalance and things that strictly affect female organs and anatomy, period. So I was talking to a friend the other day and she brought that up. And I said, you know what? When we get our hands on our next investment or, some real money to push forward, I think we will at some point do, whether it's as for Pride Month 1 year or something, do a dedicated to like condition them. And those are things that we think about. We just want the community to know that we're thinking about it, but that we did make this for the female, anatomy to deal with things that we really do deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, no, I think that's great. And personally, I think women could introduce it, kind of like what you were saying with men. I mean, men are going to find stuff in your bathroom. That could be a romantic evening. You could be like, honey, let me help you out. I notice things are a little
vulva massage
down there. A little vulva massage.
I used it on my boyfriend's tattoo because I know that it has those healing qualities that, like I said, the cotton oil and some of the things in there are really, really great on contact with soothing irritation. And so I was like, he was using that little cream that they gave him at the tattoo place. I was like, no. I said, go get that bottle. I said, I know you don't like the girl on the front. I said, but I'm telling you, put that conditioner on that thing. It will heal it right up. And next day was much better.
Absolutely. And I was even saying too, outside of that, if you know your man needs to manscape, don't play. There's, you could just say, hon, let's have a romantic evening and you could help that brother manscape it out a little bit. Help clean that area up. It could be. I mean, there's versatility. So it's
at least worth a great, spark a great fun conversation. About men's, but these days, men, there's so many different prep, whether you're big. This product, and let me be also very clear. This product is for all vulvas, whether you're bare or you have hair. If you are bare, wonderful. The closer we get to your skin and the more effective that you get to see the product be in terms of, just your day to day, you will immediately, even if you put it on the back of your hand, and you wait for the day, you touch your hand again and be like, it's still soft, and it feels that way. And it definitely is an immediate change of, a lot of our competitors started with oil-based formulas, right?
Right.
And as sisters, we knew we had to have a cream, and for those of you, we call it a lotion all the time too, because it's just easier. But there's a difference in a lotion and a cream. A cream is more, how do I explain that? How do I explain it, G?
Emollient.
Yeah, it's more emollient. Thank you. That's gone, bestie, with the word. It's more emollient, right? So oil, sometimes, you put an oil on your hand or on your body and it looks nice. It looks shiny. Yeah. But is it really penetrating and is it really, doing what it does? And people have told us no. And like I said, it's all natural. There are no harmful chemicals. It is, what do you call it? There are no steroids. There are no hormones or anything in that. No. So it's a very, we are EU approved. And for those that don't know what that means, so we make and manufacture in Europe, and we didn't even know that was going to really be a benefit for us until we made it. And she let us know we had to pay for the testing and everything, but it is hard to get EU approval for these, and if it's not, it could not have left, Europe. We had to make sure this product was, so our FDA here in the United States does not require that sort of testing for for products like that. That's why all of you have been on Instagram and you see, Susie Q's Coochie Elixir, and they've got 500,000 followers because everybody thinks it's great and it tastes like cotton candy and all this. And she's making it in her house or they're hand making it. And I'm personally not comfortable with that. I wasn't comfortable with that. And no shade to those ladies. Get it how you live it, girl. But for us, we hold steadfast and confident in the fact that this was formulated by a woman, made in a lab, tested, passed with flying colors, and we feel very confident in that. So.
Oh no, I feel confident because, like I said, I put it on my vagina, on my vulva, and I had to. And the EU approval actually worked for me too because I was like, I've been overseas. I do understand they have a lot more stricter policies about beauty products, around food. A lot of the things that are in our products here are outlawed in their country, in the EU. So it is a higher quality standard to it. So if it says it has X, Y, and Z in it, it has only X, Y, and Z in it. There is no deviation. So that totally made me feel comfortable putting it on. Because like I said, I do get a little nervous about trying this stuff, but I loved it.
We had a family reach out and thank you for that. We appreciate that. You know, the more people that, if I could, I'd probably give all of them away to start just so everyone can have an experience. But, you know, we've gotten calls from moms who are like, listen, my 7-year-old deals with chafing and irritation. Like their urine is got some things going on or acidic. And they were like, we've been using, you know, your gynecologist. And listen, please take this product to your gynecologist because they're going to love it. Ours do. We had a girl email the other day and say her gynecologist referred her. And I was thinking, oh, maybe we have the same one. That's how she knew. And it was a gynecologist in Maryland that I have no idea, but she's found it and she's referring it to her patients. And so, they were using it. So your gynecologist may also tell you if you get irritated or you need to moisturize and you don't have anything. You know, we've always been told for years that you could use raw coconut oil. You know, virgin coconut oil in that area, virgin or refined coconut oil, right? Could be used not only externally, but internally for women, right? Make sure you talk to your gynecologist and all that. And so outside of that family for that child had been using the coconut oil for all the time, but it just, again, oil still sitting. It was working, but not. And so they were so happy to find ours. And then on the complete opposite side of the age spectrum, we've had like an 80-year-old, the daughter of like a 75, I think she's about 80, and she was bedridden. And the adult diapers, you know, she had incontinence issues and, you know, the adult diapers were irritating. She was like kind of all torn up in the vulva area. And girl, they used so much, they ran out of the tube in 2 weeks. That's how much they were using on her because it worked. And they called me at 5 a.m. one day. I was like, who's calling? And the daughter was crying because she was like, thank you so much for giving me this tube. Yeah. My mother has never, she's so happy. How can we get some more? And they didn't have a lot of money. So we gifted them more tubes. And so, you know, take it to your doctor, do your own research, call us, let us know if you have any, spot check it, you know, read the reviews on our site. And we're really happy, you know, again, opportunities like this that you're giving us, Pamela, they really make a difference because listen, not everybody can afford to buy the tube right away. I will tell you, there's a 15% discount code for anybody who just signs up for our email list. But at the end, we'll leave a discount code for your listeners. And
thank you.
We'll give one back to you to share with them. But if you can't purchase right now, so many ways to support us. Find us on Instagram at ConditionHER. If you get the product and you love it, record a video for us. If you're a big TikTok person, because these ticks and these talks, and in my 40s, they're about to drive me crazy. So if your TikTok is your thing, or you can do a reel, you don't know how helpful that is for a brand, for user-generated, you know, community-generated content. Invite us to a girls' night to talk about the product. Is your church having, you know, is it Women's Month and y'all having a health fair? Listen, as my sanctified, they said, you know, praise and worship must go. They call the little vulva area the V in virtue. So listen, we can come talk saved and sanctified. We can talk about the V in virtue.
We can talk about the V in virtue.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad to have you guys on because like I said, I think it's just so important as two women, two friends. You built a business together. You're putting out products that really are going to help. They really do help women. And I understand pricing. The pricing is $29.99 a bottle on the website. I'll make sure all of your information is listed. When I compare it to other products that I would spend money on, it's very comparable. It's a good quality product. So I definitely would love having you guys on and being able to share your story and what you do. So I appreciate it. This has been great.
Oh, thank you. And you know, I'll go ahead because the code for your listeners is already active. It's 20% off. So you get a little bit more than if you sign up. It's 20% off and the code is well done. So you just put in well done, whether it's not case sensitive, so lowercase, you just put it all together, and that will give you your 20% discount. We got some cute little t-shirts on there. There's some new ones coming out. We got
your earrings.
Our earrings. We got a new t-shirt coming up, thick thighs and moisturize. We've got, protect your peace and pH balance. Like, we've got some fun things coming up.
I'm so excited. I will definitely make sure I have all of your information in the show notes. I will definitely make sure I blast out the coupon code, because y'all, you've got to try it. Don't be afraid. Try it out. I am not a waxer too. I can't believe I'm telling people this. I do not wax. I do not shave. I use Veet because I'm lazy, and it works really well. But then when I put that extra layer of conditioner on afterwards, it was just like heaven. I was just like, okay, this is really great.
Reminded. Go ahead, Gina, because I don't even think we touched on it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to give one of my little perimenopause secrets is that like when you're in your 40s, like I had that first experience where I was like, oh, my heating up. So I'm a researcher. So I researched and I found that, so wild yam cream, if you buy wild yam cream and you put it on your wrist or behind your knees, it'll stop it. So I did it. I literally bought it. I got it the next day. I put it on, never heated up again. Right. And so, but one of the things that really, really helped me realize is how quickly something that you can put on your skin can get into your bloodstream. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like I always tell women, I was like, even if you don't try our product, even though it's the best on the market and it does so much more than a lot of these other products do, be very careful about what you're putting down there.
What I really wanted to jump in and say, because we didn't touch on it at all. And what you just talked about Veet, Pamela, it triggered me. It is the most amazing post-hair removal moisturizer to use, period. It goes in my purse with me when I go to my lasers. Shout out to Flawless here in Burbank.
Me too.
And Sherman Oaks. I take it in my purse. And when they're done and they get ready to grab their little whatever, they'll be like, no, thanks. I brought my own. I bring my bottle out and they're always like, what's that? And I use it immediately. Any sort of tingly. So now we tell folks when you're on wax day, throw it in your purse, take it with you to your wax person. If you want to make sure, if you really want to do us a solid, refer us to your esthetician. Shout out to the Esties, because you guys have been so good to us. We do wholesale across internationally as well. Shout out to London, the UK. You guys really support us. But there is in Philly, my girl, she owns To The Root. She's an esthetician and she wholesales us so many different places around the country. So take us with you if you're shaving or using Veet or using your Nair or any other hair removal immediately. This is when you dry off, this is what you use. And you will immediately notice if you are the one to get irritated immediately after your wax or even shaving or anything, you kind of red, you get those little bumps, it will calm it right out. So you can use it for post hair removal.
It totally did, because, sometimes if you're not careful and you leave it on a little too long, and then as soon as it comes off, because you can feel like it's a little burn. And I think there was a lot of people using like depilatories and stuff like that. So it's just something to think about. I haven't tried it on my legs yet, but I think
a lot of women do.
Under your arms.
And underarms too. And to be honest, I use it on my boobs too. I use it as my breast moisturizer because breast cancer is running my family. My gynecologist has had breast cancer. And so I know the ingredients in that are safe. So it's penetrating that skin too. And so for me, it's from belly button down into the inner thighs. I take the remnants and that goes on the boobs and under my arms every day.
I think that's perfect. And plus a lot of people need to please moisturize your breast. Not trying to say anything, moisturize your boobs. I know some people don't. Believe me, I had this conversation recently. I had this conversation with my mom. She's probably going to kill me. I did. We went to have her mammogram. And I was like, Mom, you didn't put no lotion on your boobs today.
Mommy's boobs was ashy.
The boobs, titties were ashy. I was like, Mom, nah, we're going to have to fix that when you get home.
We're sending Mom some ConditionHER. We're going to send her on too.
I'm a conditioner. So I was like, But I said, and the tech at the mammogram place said, you'd be surprised. There are a lot of women who don't. even though they may be coming in, for mammograms, it was like, they just don't do that in general. People skip that. They just hit the legs and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's a full body experience. Moisture
I just had my mammogram and I had to set 2 morning reminders. Do not put lotion on because, it's hard. I want my moisture. It's hard not to. So I had to really remind myself, you could not put any lotion on your boobs today. They're about to go smash it in a little thing.
Yes. I mean, just even when so, get in the habit of moisturizing from head to toe, ladies. And so I will try that because I do like to make sure I moisturize my boobs and especially under the armpits because I'm a natural deodorant kind of person.
Oh, same.
I get really sensitive. Like I can't use the baking soda deodorant.
Have you tried Play Pits at all?
I haven't. I've been using Native. I found the Native sensitive skin.
Okay.
With no baking soda, no aluminum works for me. That's the only one I don't know if
Play Pits, and they're Black woman owned. They are in Target now, and they have the King and Queen. I tried the King. I loved the Queen. So look on Play Pits and see if the Queen one will work for you. Shout out to those ladies.
Yes, because unfortunately, there's a lot of irritation that we get.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are
might
allergic to organic baking soda, and I have a friend. Who has, it's called Veggie Thumper. She's a Black urban farmer and she makes handmade deodorant. So for a long time, that's all I was using. But I was getting irritated and she was like, Wendy, it's the organic baking soda. She's like, let me make some adjustments to the formula. But a lot of people find that. But one thing that I found is once you get on a natural deodorant trend, the one deodorant that never worked for me back in the day, and everybody said the same thing, was Tom's. I tried a million times a day to use Tom's. And it wouldn't work. That's because I realized my pH. Once I adjusted my pH under my arms by using natural deodorant, girl, I can use Tom's lavender every day, all day. I will not. Want to smell it because the pH needed to be changed. You should try it. Maybe check on Tom's one day too. But no, this has been a great combo. Yeah.
Yes, this has. I really want to thank you, ladies, for your time. So I'm going to ask you each one question before I let you go. Because I know we've covered a lot, but I want to make sure that I give you guys an opportunity to do something a little different. So my question to you is, and I'm going to start with Eugenia first. What is one thing that you would want our audience to know about you that you have not already said yet?
I would like the audience to know that I'm a supporter of women. At the very core of who I am. I work in a predominantly male-dominated space, and I find joy in being able to help usher women through that door. And then even in our business, I'm very proud that we have a diverse team of amazing women of all shades and cultures that bring you this amazing product.
Wow, very cool.
What would I share about me? You know what? I'll share this. I haven't learned, let me say this right, because I'm working on my shout out to Abraham Hicks, because I'm like, listen to all the everything. I am learning at 45 the importance and how to celebrate myself. And a guy friend of mine, somebody I'm getting to know. I'm still single though, y'all. So if y'all's brothers, uncles, daddies, cousins, grandfathers, stepfathers, old stepfathers, ex-stepfathers is single and he about 6 feet, send him my way. Anyway.
Can we say brothers?
Yes.
Younger friends. Can we use some other terms?
Listen, I'm just trying to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? But no, the eye
candy next door. The eye candy next door. Can we use some good terms?
Listen, in all seriousness,
your boss.
I am learning to celebrate myself, the little things, and that doesn't have to always be like, oh, let's go to a dinner or let's go on a trip to celebrate or it could be just like, girl, you did that. You know what? Let's finish early. Let's go get a bottle of wine. Let's go get the bottle we really like, or let's, sit and do nothing tomorrow. So I'm learning that. And if it wasn't for this gentleman friend asking me that and me not having an answer, I think it's something that would still be, I still wouldn't even be thinking about. But as extroverted as I am, I realized that I'm also in a very introspective space in my life in this time. And I'm just sorting through what that is, changing the words that I use, really focusing on manifestation and what does that mean? What does the law of attraction really mean?
Yes.
And it's kind of exciting. I'm learning a lot about me these days.
I love that. And I think that's just so important to talk about, because the fact that you guys are out here building your dreams and living them, but you're still learning, is so important. So
always
I
be
really,
learning. I've heard always be learning. I had a college professor tell me that. Always be learning.
That's the L in life.
Absolutely. Because Lord knows, when you stop learning, what else is there at that point for you? There's still going to be opportunity to grow. So I really want to thank you both for coming on today and just taking this time to pour into us about your passion for your business and for each other. Because we did get, I sense you are the master builder and the ideator. Like I said, to me, you two seem unstoppable. And I'm just so glad that we could get a chance to support you and support ConditionHER and what you're doing and growing. So I really want to thank you both for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So guys, I will make sure I have all the information in the show notes. I will make sure that the code is there. I'll push it out on social so that you can get it. You definitely want to try the product. It is great. Like, I really like it. And I don't try everything I get. So believe me, I'm telling you, I really, really like it. And I will be using it. And so will the rest of my family. Because as women, we need this. So I want to make sure you guys support. And I will make sure that you have everything that you need. So I want to thank everyone for listening. And we will be back next week with a brand new episode. And again, I want to thank you both for coming on. So really appreciate you.